Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know I've been away for a while, but don't worry, I'm back to YouTube. So in today's tutorial, I'll be taking you guys on how to make this simple wrap top. So if this is something you're interested in, keep on watching and let's get started. So for today's tutorial, I'll be making use of two different fabrics. I've had this fabric for a while, so both fabrics are not even up to 1 yard each. But if you're on a smaller size, I advise you make use of 1.5 yard, while those on the bigger size can make use of 2 yards. Now it depends if you're using one fabric for the whole style or two different fabrics for the style. So my fabric is in fold, and the first thing I'm going to be doing is to mark a starting line where all my measurements will be starting from. So after I was done with that, the next thing I did was to mark my shoulder measurements. My shoulder is 17 divided by 2, which is 8.5, but I marked 9 inches because of I'll be keeping half inches for the joining of the sleeve with my shoulder. After I was done marking my shoulder measurements, I went straight to marking my bust point, my waistline, which is my half length, and the blouse length. Then I connected both lines together with my tape rule. So after I was done connecting all the lines together, the next thing I did was to mark the wideness of my neck by 3 inches. Then from where I marked my shoulder measurement, I came down by 1 inch, slanted it into the place where I marked 3 inches for the wideness of my neck. So since I'm drafting the back piece of this dress first, I came down by 1.5 inches for the length of the neck, then I connected both lines together. Now the next thing we are doing is to locate our chest line, and to get that you divide your bust measurements by 6 plus 1.5. So my bust measurement is 45 divided by 6 plus 1.5. That's how I was able to get my chest line. Then I connected the lines together. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to draft my bust measurements. The allowance I added is 1.5 inches. I drafted my bust measurement on my chest line. Then I added 1.5 inches for sewing and seam allowance. Then I went to my waist. I drafted my waist measurements divided by 4. My waist is 36 divided by 4, that's 9 inches. Then I added 1 inch for that. Then I added 1.5 inches for the seam and sewing allowance. So the next thing I'll do is to connect both lines together, and this was what I got after connecting the chest measurement and my waist measurement. I connected both lines together. Now that I'm done with that, I'll draft my armpit, and to get that, the length of my armhole that I have here divided by 2, I marked it. Then I came inside by half of an inch, connected it to the upper part, and then I connected it to the down part. As you can see on my chest line, I measured 1.5 inches just so I could create my armhole, since I'm drafting this with a freehand sketching. Then I'll move to cutting every pieces down, like cutting the back piece down, so we can see what our back piece is looking like. So now this is what our back piece is looking like. I'll remove this back piece and then place it on the front piece to draft the front pattern. So now my front piece, the fabric is folded into 2. All I'll do is to place the back piece on it. The side allowance is going to face me, while the part that is having the excess is where I'm going to take my wrap effect from. So I'm going to measure what I have on my waistline, that's including that allowance that I added, that's 10 inches. I'll measure that on the other parts that I kept for the wrap effect. I marked the 10 inches there. Then I just used my chalk to sketch out the places where I'll be cutting, like the armhole and the armpit and the shoulder of this dress. Then now I'll determine how low I want my wrap top to be, like how I want it to expose my breast and all. So it depends on your choice. So I came down by 7 inches for my own. You can go up by 6 or 5, it depends on your choice. Then I'll connect the lines together as you can see me doing the video. So I'm done connecting the lines. Then I'll just take my scissors and cut out every piece that I have marked with my chalk. So this is what our front piece is looking like. I used the back piece to cut the front piece. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to mark where we'll be taking our darts. So for my darts, my nipple to nipple is 9 inches divided by 2. That's 4.5. But I marked 5 inches because I'm going to be sewing half inch in on both sides to take out 1 inch that I added for the dart. So I did that with the front and the back piece together because it's the same measurement I used. So after I was done locating where my 5 inches is, I created a notch as you can see me do in the video. So now I'm going to measure the roundness of my armhole. Whatever I get there, that's what I'm going to use to draft the sleeve of this dress. My fabric is folded into 4 because I'm drafting both sleeves together. So now I'm going to measure the length of this sleeve. I'm using all the whole length here because my fabric is not really much. Like I said earlier on, I'm using a small piece of fabric to make this dress. So I'm going to measure the length that I need and how wide I want my sleeve to look like. Then since it's a puff sleeve that will be having little gathers, I just had to draft something there. Remember, it's a freehand sketching, so you don't need pattern drafting for this and all. What I have there, after measuring everything, I add excess even from the measurement I got from my armhole, and I'm fine with that because I'll be attaching some pleatings to the sleeve, you get. So I just left it that way and then connected the lines to where the roundness of my sleeve is going to stop. So now this is what our sleeve is looking like. I'll just I'll mark this place as the back piece to indicate which one is the front and the back. So for the sewing of this wrap top, the first thing I'm going to be doing is to place my front piece and back piece together. Then I'll join the shoulder by 1/2 inch. So after I'm done joining the shoulder by 1/2 inch, I'm going to join the side of this dress by 1.5 inches, since that was what we kept for our sewing and seam allowance. So remember that I notched where I'll be taking my darts measurements from, so that's the next thing we are going to be doing. So the length that I'm using for this dart, both the front and the back, is 5 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is to bend the down part of this wrap top, as you can see me do in the video. So now I'm going to bend where the wrap effect is taking place all through the neck of this blouse. And after I was done bending it, this is what our wrap piece is looking like. So for the fixing of this sleeve and the making of the sleeve, I did that behind the camera, and I'm sorry I couldn't add that to this video because the video was already getting long. But if it is something you're interested in, you can kindly drop it in the comment section, then I'll upload a video on how to make that particular sleeve. So all I did was just fix my sleeve to my blouse, and like I said earlier on, I'll be inserting little pleats to make the sleeve puff. So the next thing I did was to bend my fabric in 2 places. That will be for the rope of this wrap top. We know it's a wrap top that I'll be tying all around my waist, so the rope that you are making has to be something long that can go through your waist twice. Then I joined the rope on both sides of my wrap top. So this is the final look of this wrap top. Please, if this is something you're interested in, kindly click on the subscribe button, like and comment. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.